Hello, everybody. That somber voice you're hearing in your headphones right now is, in fact, Rhino again for the second straight week.
You gotta hit him
That
with
romantic.
everybody.
No, I wanted to keep it calm. I wanted to keep it somber. It's Rhino. It's
man.
Rhino in your head.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to the Alter Ego Podcast. My name is Rhino. I am once again hosting the show today. Welcome to episode 171. I am joined by my esteemed colleagues. Jack, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Living
Black
life.
Rhino.
How's it going?
That a boy. We've got a great show in stock for you guys today. We're going to cover some gaming news, some movies and television, a little bit of Marvel and DC. How about we get into it, boys? How you feeling?
Let's do it, man.
I'm excited. Ryan, are you excited?
It's a little weird that we actually got through that without Nello interrupting.
We did make it a minute and 30 seconds into the show without an interruption. You're right. We did.
Can I know you're doing the run of show. Can I start with a tangent?
I love Jack Tangent, so of course.
I've talked about this one before. I was watching HBO Max the other night because I wanted to go see Dune 2. Got too tired, didn't get a chance to watch it again. However, through the streaming services, I found the David Harbour Hellboy.
Okay.
Is on Netflix.
Okay.
I would be remiss if I didn't say he is the best Hellboy we've ever gotten. I finally watched it. Comic book accuracy and the way that Hellboy is portrayed, that is the best Hellboy we've ever gotten. I love Ron Perlman. I love those movies. I will never say that they're bad. I love them. But when you have this, man, it's so good. You said you finally watched it. Let's hear it.
I finally watched it. You might be a little disappointed with my assessment of the movie. David Harbour was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought his portrayal of the character was amazing. I was not the biggest fan of the movie itself.
Okay.
But I thought his portrayal of Hellboy was so comic book accurate. It was incredible.
He looks amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely he does. He does. And to be honest, it was a lot like Ant-Man 3 where, Kang was the reason why that movie was good. In this Hellboy, David Harbour is the only reason, to me personally, and I respect your opinion, he was the only reason why that movie was watchable, in my opinion.
I like Mila Jovovich, and I like Ian McShane. I think that's his name, Ian McShane.
Yes.
Yes.
The older white guy, yeah.
But they're so criminally underused in that movie, and I think it's for good purpose because they were focusing on Hellboy, which is the right thing to do. But I think there are a couple characters that kind of lack, but that's the same way in all the Hellboy movies. You don't get all winners in those movies.
I mean, Mila Jovovich is only good for killing zombies. Let's be honest.
Wait, no, Leeloo Dallas Multipass.
That's true. That's true. Multipass.
I mean, that movie, Fifth Element, that is if it's on
fair.
and it's 3 a.m. All right, let's just go ahead and cruise.
Can I make this assessment about Fifth Element? It might be one of the most underrated sci-fi movies of all time.
That's I don't even know if that's a hot take for me.
I saw it in the I forget what I was scrolling through the other day, and I saw it. I'm like, ooh, do I do it? Nah, I don't have the bandwidth for that right now because I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
I'm with Jack. If that's on at any time, day or night, I'm gonna sit and watch it 100%.
That's exactly why I didn't hit play on.
Yeah,
I was like,
guess we're watching Fifth Element.
Guess I'm up until 5 a.m.
I was gonna say it was like 2:30 in the morning when I was scrolling. It's like I just want something just to watch for just a little bit long. And it's funny.
That's why when I'm in bed, I have to put on sitcoms because I can fall asleep to a sitcom. If I put on a movie, I'm up for the duration of that movie.
It depends on what it is. For me, if it's something I've seen 1,000 times, I can go to sleep.
Corbin Dallas.
Was I doing something? And randomly, last week, I had somebody talk shit about the Hellboy movie, and I was like, "Yo, if Jack was here right now, he'd fight both of you."
I would. They're
like, "Oh, the new Hellboy, it's not good." I'm like, "Oh, bro."
They're bringing in a negotiator. Anybody else want to negotiate?
the Pulp Fiction. Tell that bitch to chill.
Say, bitch, be cool.
Hey, bitch, be cool. Because I would be coming in there heated. What are you talking about? Tell me about the Hellboys that you've read. Tell me about the comics you've read. What do you know about the character?
It's very watchable. I would watch it again. I'm not saying it's bad in the slightest bit. It's just it wasn't for me personally. But
Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro, they did a great job. They really did.
Yeah.
I mean, like just making a great movie. Those Hellboy movies, I could watch them again and again and again. They're so 100%, good.
100%.
I just prefer the other one, you know, and they're like, Hellboy? No, it's Josh. As he's sitting there like counting liquor at the bar. Oh gosh. Anyway, it was good, man.
We're going to kick it off with a little bit of gaming news first. And this particular story kind of resonated with me because I feel like us in particular are going to be on the minority of this particular story. But there was a 9-year study that was conducted by a company called Quantic Foundry.
I already hate it.
That found that 67% of gamers are less interested in the strategic thinking and planning games than they were, say, like the first-person shooters, like a Call of Duty or something along those lines. And I when I read that headline, I was like, "Oh, really? Who were you polling for this you know, this study?" Because I love the strategic and planning games. The first-person shooters are great. But when you come out with a game like Diablo or, you know, God of War or something like that, Spider-Man even, that's the game where I'm sitting on my couch and I'm playing for hours by myself without stopping.
I mean, I get what they're saying, but that statistic doesn't surprise me in the least bit, honestly, because today's society is all about instant gratification, and that's what they want. They want all the series out now. They want they want to just jump in and start playing multiplayer. It's like Fortnite has done that too. And now the game where you get in, you know, a good example that you just used is Spider-Man, although I wouldn't necessarily call that a strategic game. You could still get in and set your gear. Diablo definitely is a good strategic game. And that's one that, you know, you really have to math it out and freaking min-max all your stuff and make sure your percentages are right, carry the two, and what am I going to do with this compared to this? And you're totally just mathing everything. And I can see why that frustrates a lot of people, because like somebody sent me, Nick, a good friend of the show, sent me this TikTok or something the other day about how people were making fun of Dune, about how much stuff they had to know for Dune 2. And I was like, that's pretty common. People just want John Wick to show up and shoot 80 people, and then that'll be their movie. When it's, oh, by the way, this is a political, you know, aspect of the movie as to why this decision was made, why this happened here. And people are like, this is dumb. Why can't I see the worm eat a spaceship now? I mean, like,
people's attention spans are going from here down to here.
I also want to know what to consider a strategic game. Is it like
that's a really good point too?
You know
what are the parameters? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah,
turn based, because a lot of things are strategic. Even first person shooters can be very strategic.
For sure.
So I you know, Call of Duty is not very strategic. It's you load up with an assault rifle and a secondary, and you go and you try and hunt down people and kill them.
Yeah, but your movement matters, man. You know what I mean? Like strategy, especially playing like Warzone, having a strategy.
I wonder if by strategy they mean, you know, like in Diablo, for instance, your strategy is to get like a certain gear build so you can go into certain dungeons, do certain things. And then if you go into other areas of the map, you're going to put on different gears so you can have a different build. Like, I wonder if that's what they mean by the word strategy, and not necessarily like, you know, running downhill and then hitting slide cancel and then popping up and then drop shooting somebody.
I still agree with Rhino though. Like Ryan, like a turn-based game is what I really consider a strategy game.
Yeah, Civilization, all those other games that people really
even like games anymore. Like Farm Simulator, which is apparently an esports game now.
Oh yeah, you can.
Was I wrong when I said that we would be in the minority with that particular study though? I mean, I feel like we prefer those strategy-based games as opposed to the, you know, the basic Call of Duty type games.
Yeah, I like games that you have to think and get deep. Like that's one reason.
I mean, that's I was about to say Monster Hunter in itself. That's definitely a huge example for me. I mean, you're the most first-person friendly shooter fan in the group right now. I mean, yeah, definitely the minority on this end. I would play Diablo hours and hours.
with that being said, though, like, yes, I am the first person out of our group of friends that'll pick up a first-person shooter, but at the same time, I only play COD if my friends are on.
Yeah.
I don't ever pick up COD if nobody's online. If nobody's online, I'm picking up Diablo, I'm picking up Spider-Man, I'm picking up God of War, I'm picking up something like that where I have to think, I have to plan my next move, something along those lines.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving on after that. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say in finality, yeah, definitely the minority. I don't want because nowadays we talked about this last week too, I think, is like video games are not meant to be, well, my definition of fun anymore.
It's all about the competition. It's all about who can be better than who is
right.
Pretty much what every video game is based off of now.
Instead of having fun, it's clowning the person that you just beat and I don't know. Bully culture.
Based off of a financial report that was released recently, CD Projekt Red has no one working on Cyberpunk 2077 anymore. Not one single person in that studio is working on that game.
I can't believe it's still a studio.
Is that game officially the biggest flop in gaming history? Even with the DLC that came out and almost redeemed the game, is that one of the biggest flops in gaming history?
I'm going to say, actually, you know what? I might say yes. The only one that I thought was maybe compatible with it was No Man's Sky, because that game had so hyped. But the way that CD Projekt Red, this thing was hyped, I mean, Cyberpunk 77, everybody was talking about it.
I mean, that game had TV spots during NFL games on prime time. That's how big that game was before it released.
Well, because of Keanu.
Yeah, but they tried to jump the shark and they bit off way more than they could chew.
And now, what is it? 3 years after release? It's only been 3 years, right?
Wow. Yeah, I remember
they have no one working that game.
I'll say this is I was trying to think of a bigger flop of a game just for the sake of the question, and there isn't going to be one because of that same thing I always talk about, how the industry has grown and grown and grown. We talk about, oh, this many players on this game. It's because there's so many gamers, but the level of advertisement that game got, you're absolutely right. College football, I mean, pro football, any of the big shows, it was all promoting Keanu, Cyberpunk 2099 or whatever the hell it was all over the place. And yeah, it was a big flop. I'd say the only ones that could even compete are games that maybe just didn't get released.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Games that got shelved. Yeah.
Yeah, but rather than a game being flopped.
Yeah.
I mean, it is in history one of the biggest game flops of all time. So shortly after Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was confirmed by Microsoft, they came out and confirmed that the game is going to be released on Game Pass. So that is now official. We've talked about that a couple times before on the show. It is now official by Microsoft that it'll be released on Game Pass. And my question is this a middle finger to PlayStation, or is this financially the right move to make when we're in an age of microtransactions?
I honestly think it's just Microsoft keeping up with their promise that any first-party studio games that they have will be on Game Pass. So it's their incentive to put Game Pass out there to make you pay that extra 15 or whatever it is a month to have the Live and the Game Pass.
I mean,
it don't come out with a lot of first-party titles. So, I mean, you bought the biggest one at $70 billion. That's an incentive because now anybody has a PlayStation. You want to buy an Xbox? Jump in there. You get it free every year. Don't have to worry about it.
Well, that's just Microsoft Game Pass or Xbox Game Pass. That's not the PlayStation Store. So there's no confirmation that PlayStation will have it for free as well.
They won't.
That's what I'm saying.
They absolutely won't.
They won't. That's what I'm saying. And that's their promise to Xbox.
And that's the reason why I'm asking if it's a middle finger to PlayStation, because now that Microsoft obviously owns the rights to Activision and the Call of Duty franchise, they can say, hey, we'll release it for free on our platform. PlayStation, meanwhile, will charge $70 for the game. And then on top of that $70, you'll have the microtransactions that we'll have as well. So that's why I'm thinking it's more of a middle finger to PlayStation. Like, hey, all right, cool. You made that big fuss. We're going to give the game away for free.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're not. They acquired a studio. So they've already said, like, whenever anything first party, like with Bethesda, that was one of the worries that they had. That's going to be on Xbox for free. It was already should have already been last year. They should have honestly had the should have put COD on there for free too if they want to keep it here, like they said. That's why I haven't played it because I ain't buying it. But they didn't acquire them. Now they have it. So now that it's free on Game Pass, I'll download that bad boy and play it all day.
Same here, and I hate Call of Duty, and I'll download that sucker.
But as far as PlayStation goes, I mean, they already knew what it was. As soon as it got bought, they knew they were going to have to pay for it.
I almost wonder if that was part of PlayStation's biggest beef with that acquisition is like, hey, we can't compete with somebody who's offering this game for free.
Here's what I love. These last couple of weeks and throughout the entirety of the show, we always talk about how many more units PlayStation sells than Xbox. And Xbox is like, hey, man, great job. You're going to be paying us for every single person that wants to play our game. And our will play it for free. Hey, keep outselling us because we're going to get money off of every single console you sell that does Call of Duty.
Like I said, they're two different things. One's an ecosystem now. Xbox is an ecosystem. It's no longer just selling consoles. They could give a shit less about that.
Right. It's not important.
PlayStation, the only thing they have, Sony is just on that box. Like that's it. That's them.
Like well, no, the one thing they do have is the solo games. That's the one thing they will, at least for the foreseeable future, is they'll have that over Xbox tenfold.
Solo games on that PlayStation. Hey, you want to go bring up your PC and go play Halo because you can.
Right.
You want to go, you know what I mean?
Right. Hey, bring your laptop over. We're doing Halo.
Do all the things that you can do with that now. It's just they're way ahead of PlayStation in a lot of ways. We lose when it comes to first party titles. We do. I mean,
maybe not for long.
Exactly. Now with all the stuff that they've bought and money they've invested,
PlayStation's still going to lose money. But if they at least allowed a game like God of War to come over to Xbox, they'd make a few more shekels.
Yeah.
Well, they have so many huge titles coming out over the next year or two, like the Wolverine game, the Avengers game. Make it cross-plat. Why not? Because if for every $70 game that sells on Microsoft, you can make what, $10-$20? Why not do that?
More than that.
Yeah. Speaking of another AAA game that has huge plans for their future, Helldivers 2 dev says he wants the studio to be the next Blizzard. My biggest question with this is I don't know if this game is capable of launching that studio into that kind of stratosphere. It's a great game. It really is. But we've talked about it before. There isn't a whole lot of content with that game. It's literally you load in, you shoot bugs, you shoot robots, and that's it.
That's honestly, I've been looking at buying a PlayStation so I can play that.
You should.
It's a phenomenal game. It is so much fun, but at the same time, like my clock with that game runs very quickly. It's not like, when I play Overwatch or when I play Fortnite. I could play Fortnite and all those other games for hours and hours. With Helldivers 2, I'm looking at maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then it's like, okay, what else can we play now?
Does that have a competitive component to it? Is there versus? No,
nope.
It's just hopping. Yeah, see.
There's no PvP aspect to the game at all.
That's why I keep telling you, and I've said it on the record, that you, Ryan, would play you would wear the tread off of the Diablo 4 disc.
We've all said that, dude, and I wish you would give it a shot.
Man, I'm gonna be quite honest. Quite honest.
He doesn't have the time for it.
No, I have not played or touched my Xbox in almost 2 months when it comes to playing.
Do you want a reason to?
Nerd.
I honestly, man, it's weird. I never thought this day would come. I just do not have the want to even play anything. Even Overwatch, because I'm by myself most of the times. The time I play, it's like super late at night, so I don't have a lot of people on.
Right.
A lot of my friends that work, their schedule is different now, so I can't run with the boys anymore. It's just like, meh. Without my friends, it's not nearly as fun.
I don't,
especially
disagree.
With the content that I've already played time and time again.
That's yet another reason why I throw Diablo your way.
Yeah,
that's exactly why I would say Diablo is right up your alley, dude. Because I think you would treat Diablo just like Monster Hunter or Zelda. You can run that game solo. You don't have to have people with you,
and you can still do PvE content with everyone. You can go. Yeah. You could party up. You could go fight a world boss. You could do a Legion event. You could jump into the Helltide. You could push Nightmare Dungeons. You could do the story. You could jump it up to Torment Tier 4 and try to see how far you can go. Like literally. And there's 5 different classes right now. Each one have at least 10 builds that you could do on each one. There's different,
and I guarantee you, there's a level to that game that you cannot beat on your own.
You guys so
I promise you.
I played it for 3 hours last night.
Yeah, because I hear Nello, who's like a diehard, and
he likes it too, but he sucks. He sucks at video games.
Yeah, that's why good at games to begin with.
When he does video games, he's just really bad at them. He's just too busy wearing his Cowboys hat and going out to,
He's just upset that Dak isn't that good at football. Moving on, we've got movies and television news now. This one actually caught my attention in terms of television. So Giancarlo Esposito, there's been a lot of rumors around him being included in the MCU. Is he going to be Charles Xavier? Is he going to be
jump from video games, or is this still video games?
No. This is movies and television now.
Oh, okay.
So we've talked at length about this on the show. We would love to see him play Charles Xavier. Is he going to play a villain? We don't know yet. However, he confirmed that his unknown MCU character has a series in production with the MCU.
He's going to show up on a movie and then be in a series.
Listen, I'm even more so now putting my chips on Charles Xavier than I was before, because he would make a phenomenal series as a standalone character. You don't think so?
I don't think you get Charles Xavier without the rest of the X-Men.
No, obviously there would be X-Men characters in the show. It wouldn't be just him and like the rest of the world. But if it was a show focused on him, like maybe say the early years, or as he's getting ready to develop the X-Men, I think that would be a phenomenal series. Not necessarily an origin story. I'm way past the age of origin stories with Marvel. Regardless of the content, I don't want any more origin stories. We don't need them. We don't have to have them.
I was born.
Yeah, some of them I kind of like.
Well, if it's a secondhand character, sure, but we don't need an origin story for Professor X. We don't need that.
I don't think we need a series for Professor X either.
But it's also Giancarlo Esposito, and I could watch him.
He's not that fucking exciting.
Oh, I love him. I love him.
Not for a series. Give me a series that he led that he was the reason it was great.
Well, when's the last time he led a series? Period, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say he makes a great.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Character.
Well, I'm gonna respectfully disagree with that. Just because he hasn't doesn't mean he can't.
The defense rests.
But see, let's see, where does Giancarlo Esposito work best? Where is he God damn, he's so good at this?
Honestly, as a villain, he's his best, to be honest with you.
That's what I was going to say.
As a sinister role in small doses is where it is good to see Giancarlo Esposito. Magneto? Whoo! That I would watch.
That's what I thought it might be.
Now, that would be good. Now, I don't know how they would do the whole being a prisoner Jew situation. But if anybody could do it, I mean, I'm sure, but I think it could even be a Dr. Doom situation.
Too old.
Why?
Too old. I want a younger
voice. All he has to be is a voice.
You're not wrong, but I think there are other characters that he could play better than Dr. Doom.
Don't disagree, and I still will die on the hill that Henry Cavill is the perfect casting, period.
Not even close. Not even close. Yeah, not even close.
But
I don't know. It's obviously we'll see.
I don't know who he could be, and leading a series unless he's in like something with an ensemble cast. First of all, I don't care. In Feige, we trust, baby. Let's see it. I'm excited.
Well, in my opinion, it's obviously X-Men related because that's clearly the next phase that we get after this. Multiversal, whatever we are in right now. It's obviously going to be X-Men. So it's going to be X-Men related.
I could see him playing a senator. Was it Senator Kelly?
Senator Kelly.
Yep.
Who ends up becoming President Kelly.
Yeah, he does. But you can't make a show around that, though.
Oh, the way they're attacking X-Men? I would watch that.
Almost like a what was that show with Agent Coulson?
Yeah, from a different angle.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah, you could potentially go that route. Yeah. I would
also like to see if we're gonna go the Professor X route, like a version of what's that, The Boys spinoff where they're in school.
Oh yeah.
On other mutants, like New Mutants, only a series, because New Mutants.
But I mean, didn't we kind of get that already with some of the other?
Well, we had that with literally New Mutants. We had that, but it was such a horrible movie.
And there were never any faculty around. They were all just kids in an abandoned mansion.
Yeah.
So that was kind of dumb, but I think Marvel could do better.
Speaking of being able to do better, Furiosa did win the opening weekend at the box office. However, it was the worst Memorial Day opening in 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years. We're going back to 1994 before a movie made less money than Furiosa did on Memorial Day weekend. I didn't see the movie. Obviously, I haven't even seen the first one. I read a lot of great reviews. This is where the IGN bullshit comes into play, though, because IGN gave us gave it a dime.
You haven't seen Fury Road?
No, I have not. I have not.
Boy, you silly goose.
We're both silly gooses.
What? Both of you, the pair of you.
I'm with Ryan on this one. I'm not watching that.
Just honk it. Why not?
No, honestly, I've meant to watch it because I've heard it's really good.
Why aren't you watching that?
It's not my thing, man. I'm not a dystopian setting kind of movie guy.
Just saying, man. It's a crazy ass movie. It's so good.
I'm going to believe you. I'm going to trust you. And that's probably where I'll draw the line.
One day you're like, let me give this a shot.
What was the movie that did worse than it in 94? You know?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure, but I just read that it was the worst. Oh, but see, that's the thing that sticks out to me is the fact that we're in an age where movies are obviously 10 times better than they were back in the day. And it's a huge franchise. I mean, this isn't just some random action movie that got released. It's a big franchise. There were people that were talking about Fury Road, how it should have been nominated for an Oscar.
It should have.
For Motion Picture of the Year. So you're talking about the sequel to that movie being the worst Memorial Day opening in 30 years. That's a pretty big headline.
Yeah, but it's also Memorial Day. Who wants to go out and watch
it? Hold on. Memorial Day has historically been a very big movie weekend.
Nobody wants to go to the movies anymore. Why? Why do you want to go to the movies?
Well, probably because if you go with a family of 4, you're spending $150.
Exactly. Yeah, why would you do that?
I was going to say, I don't necessarily think it's just the movie itself. I just think it's the times.
Let me tell you something. The magic I could do in the kitchen with the same amount of money you'd get to freaking go to that movie. And then we could sit and watch whatever we want on the TV and wait for that sucker to come out.
Yeah.
You know what? I argued this with Nello. This was probably 3-4 months ago. I argued this with Nello, and I'm really starting to get to a point where I think he actually is right. I think
he would say that shit when Nello's not here.
I will gladly tell you what. Remember this and bring it up next week when he's back. But he was saying that I think we're at the very beginning of the death of the movie theater. And now, after reading this headline and thinking about it harder, he actually may be right, because if you told me that I could rent Furiosa for $20, but I could sit on my couch and I could cook whatever I wanted and I could be in my boxers and I didn't have to leave the house, yeah, $20 actually isn't that bad of a price.
No. And that's
but if I have to, if I have to go to the theater with the wife and the kids, and she wants a large Sprite and he wants a bag of M&Ms and I want a large popcorn, and then $70 later.
And let's not forget, you sneaky fucks, you charged me extra to pick my seat too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The premium seats cost $1 more. Yeah. Like we're going to a goddamn Chargers game or something.
It's only $1 for you guys? It's like 2 or 3 down here.
Well, it depends on when you go see it, and it depends on what movie it is. But like if I go to a Saturday afternoon movie, it's $1 extra to sit in the premium seats.
Oh, so we don't really have premium seats. Just to pick your seat, you have to pay more. And then honestly, you can't even just walk in the theater anymore like old fashioned and just like go find an empty seat. You have to go pick your seat.
See, was that not one of the things that made going to the movies awesome though? Like you wanted to go see I remember this when I want to say 13, when Return of the Jedi was remastered and re-released in the theaters. I was there Friday night, the opening night, and the movie started at 8. We were there at like 6:15 waiting in line so we can get a great seat. Like we got our snacks, we're waiting in line, everyone's all dressed up in Star Wars shit. Like now it's like that's not fun anymore.
You know what's not fun anymore is going and seeing other people at the theater and going, oh, I got to sit next to this person.
They probably smell.
I got to hear him chew. I got to listen to him suck down a gallon of Diet Coke. It's just not for me.
This next story is one. It's to be expected, but it's one I wanted to bring up simply for the tangent that it'll probably cause. Mission Impossible 8 has been delayed after submarine malfunctions.
Oh, damn.
Is Mission
like Tom Cruise like, I really want the cabin pressure to be real. I mean, if we had Jim die, I mean, you imagine the awards we'd get.
Is the Mission Impossible franchise quickly becoming the Fast and the Furious franchise?
It's kind of already there.
They're both chasing James Bond.
I think Mission Impossible has been chasing James Bond since the inception.
Impossible, yeah.
The thing with Mission Impossible, because it was always dumb, incomprehensible shit. The problem is how
the first one was legit.
No, the first one was legit because I've actually gone through and started rewatching them again. I'm on 4 right now, and the wife has never seen them. But like the first one, it's one of those things where I was just thinking about this too. It really is kind of like the Fast and the Furious. If you take them. The Fast and the Furious, the first time that first movie came out, it was actually kind of a serious.
And they're racing.
Yeah.
Great movie. Fast and the Furious by itself, standalone, is a great movie. Same thing.
100%. No, I'm going to agree with them on that one. It is a great movie. Right
there by itself, good movie. And it was really slow. It's a slow burn. And you're like, oh, okay. At
Emilio!
the end, you figure it out. And then when you get into the next two of them, it starts to ramp up and it changes. And then by the time it's in the third one, you're watching just an action movie.
Third one actually wasn't that bad. It had what's the guy from Twister that ended up dying? Dustin Hoffman. No, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
I had the last name correct. All right, give me a break. Philip Seymour Hoffman. That one wasn't bad, but then once you get into the fourth one, it was like, all right.
It was the same ploy with faces coming off, this and that. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the one with like Henry Cavill and they do get down. That's awesome.
That's the one where he did the hand reset as he was getting ready to go. Yeah.
And he didn't do it, and the director's like, "Hey, you didn't do the thing. Oh, you like that?" He's like, "Yeah, do that again."
I hate that became a TikTok trend. Like all these like kids were like, "All right."
First of all, kids, you don't have what Henry Cavill's got. There's very few humans on Earth that have what that dude's got.
Yeah. Brawn, brains, and looks. Yeah.
And he's like one of the nicest people. When you hear throughout all of Hollywood, that's all you hear is he's so nice.
And he's a nerd.
What's his name? Guy Ritchie just did a movie with him, and he's like, I'm going to tell you this. I've been working with this dude for this many years. Anytime a female enters the room, Henry Cavill stands up for her. Without fail, no matter what, if a female enters the room that they're in, he will stand up.
That's very gentleman-like.
And then sit back down and go back to whatever it is he's doing. But I'm like, damn, bro, good for you.
That's the Guy Ritchie version of the Quentin Tarantino movie, right? That's like Guy Ritchie's Inglourious Bastards, where like it's a bunch of British
British warfare.
Yeah. They're a bunch of British like special ops guys fucking World War II.
That looks actually pretty dope.
It does. I want to see it actually. I do want to see it when it comes out on Netflix or whatever.
I want to watch that one, but you don't want to watch Fury Road. Okay, let's moving on.
All right, on that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our first break.
Yes.
We will be back shortly. Go get your popcorn. Go get your liquor. Come back soon.
Popcorn and liquor.
Fast and the Furious. I mean, not Fast
go get your baby goats.
Fury Road.
Go get your popcorn, your liquor, your baby goats. Go get a couple of Cheez-Its. All right, be right back.
Stray Cats.
Hola, bienvenido a Alter Ego Podcast.
I was right about to get us back into the show, and then you did that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to episode 171 of the Alter Ego Podcast.
There we go.
I'm actually pissed now because I had that voice waiting, and you ruined it for me. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. we're going to do another agree or disagree, so try and play along as you're listening in. First question, boys. Knives Out 3 has officially been confirmed for a 2025 release. Agree or disagree? This is the most overhyped production Netflix has ever come out with.
Agree.
I don't know what it is about this trilogy. I watched the first one. I was so underwhelmed by the first one. People were acting like this was a Oscar-worthy production. It was so boring.
Oh, look, the British guy's doing a Southern accent. Wow.
I never even gave the second one a thought.
Me neither.
See, that's where
I worked hard and never even gave that one a thought.
That's where you guys fucked up. I'm assuming you didn't even watch the first one, Ryan.
Yeah, you know,
neither did I.
Yeah, it was so bad, and people are all like, "Oh my god, this was so great." No, it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, all right, we're all in agreement there. Moving on to the second one. IGN Live is June 7th through June 9th. Agree or disagree? IGN Live will fade away just as fast as all of the other live panels have.
What is IGN Live?
Yeah, what's the panel? What are they doing?
So it's pretty much like E3. It's IGN doing their own version of E3 where they're going to have, game footage releases. They're going to have celebrity panels. They're going to have, giveaways. Like it's a live event that you can go to in person and all that kind of shit. It's no different than E3 was. I go ahead.
They're going to have studios that aren't there or are on press terms. They're going to have games that need a spotlight that are going to be there. But overall, are you going to see any hitters? Are you going to see your favorites? Probably not. These are starting to fade, but this one I think has to exist because people want good reviews from IGN and they also need press. It's the only reason but no, I don't trust IGN as far as I can throw them.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
I think they're going to be around for a while.
You think the actual live event they're putting on will be around for a while?
Yeah. I mean, whether it's now, if it's through streaming, if it doesn't end up being live, like he says, you have to get things out. Like if you don't know when things are coming.
Well, yeah, but what's different about this than what E3 had? I mean, E3 was pretty much the exact same thing.
Because E3 also, these guys had to pay millions of dollars to go to a place to talk about their stuff. Before E3 used to be a tech show. It was essentially like,
it was.
It was just like a, hey, this is coming out type of thing, like a workshop type deal. It became all super fan driven and all that other stuff years later, but
yeah, fair enough. That's a good assessment.
It's like it just got even crazier, and a lot of people weren't going. They're like, PlayStation, why do I got to pay you $3 million when I can jump on?
All right, wait a minute. How much did you pay to rent this concert hall? Okay, we can do that ourselves.
Exactly, and that's what they started to do.
And then we control the narrative. We control when we show up, when we turn the lights on, when we turn the lights off.
And then they, in turn, they control the revenue.
Yep. And then they also can control that there's no Xbox haters there, so everybody is actually hyped. You know what I mean?
But then, it's like the only cool thing to physically go there, because everything's going to be announced moments after it happens. Period.
Yep.
Maybe cosplayers, and then you get there and find out they smell like baked beans and curry, and you're like, all right, I gotta get out of here. There's hundreds of them, and you start walking like, oh, look, it's Goku. Damn, Goku. What about a shower?
No, it's that's not Goku. That's Fat Gogeta because they fucked the fusion up.
Right. It's a transformer that looks like just a septic tank.
Moving on to the next question. Now, we did touch on this a little bit earlier, but I want to expound on this with this question. So please allow me to finish, boys. Black Ops 6 has been confirmed for release on Xbox Game Pass. Now, my agree or disagree is the following. This will blow up in Microsoft's face, given the fact that the the Call of Duty franchise has been bad over the last 4 or 5 years. If they are planning on releasing a game for free and it is still bad, will that blow up in their face with the microtransaction philosophy?
First of all, your agree or disagrees get really, really weirdly specific. But I'm going to say, I don't think there's any way this blows up in their face. Now, blowing up as like a huge disaster? No. Because think about it like this, all the major streamers still go in and do Call of Duty, period. Timmy's doing it, the Doc, the more popular ones, maybe not some of the more focused, like really, really good streamers are doing it, but Call of Duty is still a cultural phenomenon. So having it for free on their machine isn't going to blow up. It's just going to get more people willing to spend those dollars because they didn't spend 70 or 80. Lord knows I didn't spend anything for Fortnite, and I spent more on Fortnite at this point than a lot of game franchises put together. And it's just I don't think there's any way that it, air quotes, blows up in their face. Black Ops of the Call of Duty lineage has had a really good track record other than maybe Modern Warfare. So I don't think blows up in their face is a good analogy. I'll say no, it's not going to blow up in their face.
I haven't proposed this question. How many games have you guys bought in the last year?
None.
Two or three.
Now, you keep saying for free, but it's not free. It's under Game Pass. They're paying $15 a month. Times that times 12. That's the equivalent of them getting 3 games out of you. I know I haven't bought a game.
Well, no. So that title, see, that's the thing, though. That title only receives a percentage of that. It doesn't receive the entire $15 a month because that gets divvied up between all of the games available on Game Pass.
Right.
But Microsoft does. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Almost every one of those games is.
I get that, but if you divvy it down, it's probably more like 75 cents a month for Call of Duty.
Among a billion people.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it like that specific, but I'm not, because you're going to have those people who get an Xbox and literally only get
so this was the reason why I asked the question. So Call of Duty, the only thing that Call of Duty has going for it right now is Warzone. And Warzone is already free. So nobody gave a shit that Black Ops 6 got announced on a Game Pass. I mean, honestly, there was not a big crowd of people that were excited about that because the only thing that was enticing to them was Warzone. And if you do look at all of the streamers like Timmy, like Doc, like Nick Merckx, they're only playing Warzone. They're not playing the PvP multiplayer. So if they come out with another game that flops and they do not charge you $70 a game for it, there aren't going to be a shit ton of people on there spending the $30 every couple months for the Game Pass or the $10 for the new skin that comes out. So there is an element of this game that presents the possibility of it flopping big time financially after Microsoft just spent $70 billion on the studio.
I don't think that's the case. I get where you're coming from. But right now, the cash cow is a free game, Warzone, right? You just said it yourself.
Yeah.
That's a big cash cow. That one's writing all the checks. Are we going to sit here and say that Black Ops, much like any other big AAA studio, like, I don't know, and this is in the vein of big studios that release another carbon copy of the previous game every year, that they're having to put tons of work to make Black Ops 6, or are they just reskinning things and cleaning it up and making some cool maps? At the end of the day, they're probably running on the same engine with a lot of
100%
guns and just new maps and maybe 1 or 2 new mechanics. So there's not really a lot of risk there. They're not reinventing the wheel in Black Ops 6.
Well, hold on though. There is a risk there because they just spent $70 billion
on something that already works.
I get that, and I completely agree with you 100%. However, they spent $70 billion on a studio. You're going to start the clock on how long it takes you to get that return on investment.
Not necessarily.
It's going to take them a decade to get that $70 billion back.
Well, first of all, we don't know their profit and loss statement. We don't know how much they're earning, although I'm sure it's public record and I don't want to look it up because I don't give a shit. But they're going to make their money back for sure. And I don't think it's going to take them a fucking billion years because those microtransactions that have come out for these, how much is the last battle pass for Call of Duty?
I don't know.
$30.
Warzone. On Warzone was $30.
$30, yeah.
You know, when you play, you see a lot of these little chodes out there in the new skins. They paid $30, baby.
Exactly.
So, and that's the justification. It's why it's brilliant. It's free. Pay for it. You didn't pay anything for the game, so anything that you want out of the game, you pay to get it out.
And that's why microtransactions are brilliant. Go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry.
And I was going to say on PlayStation side, PlayStation, even if they get bought on the PlayStation, because they're the freaking developer, all that money still goes back to Xbox.
Yep.
So they're not.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate is all.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jinx. Yeah. But that too, like you got to understand, even if they do just buy and only play, what is it?
Black Ops.
Warzone.
I'm gonna say, God, there's so many damn acronyms. A lot of the times when you get into Battle Pass, once you get into that ecosystem, say just even a few people start to come over from from PlayStation over to this side who've never played it before. They get on the Game Pass and they get to see, holy shit, I get all these games
for free
for $15. What? I've been playing PlayStation this whole time. Hey, bro, they're over here giving away free shit
and AAA titles.
Exactly. And not even that.
I also had the EA Pass. I don't know, and nobody tell Xbox this, but I had EA Pass many, many moons ago, and I don't think I still pay for it. And I get all the new titles, like NHL 2024. I get that for free.
Yeah, it's in non-game.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Xbox will.
I was getting all that for free.
It's in there. It's all.
Come on. That's the one thing that Xbox will forever have over PlayStation is their pay for play market is 1,000 times better on Xbox than it is on PlayStation by far. By far,
it's an ecosystem.
Moving on to the next question. After the news that Furiosa bombed at the box office with the worst Memorial Day opening in 30 years, are we seeing an end to the franchise style movies?
Can we get the dollar amount on what bombed means?
That's another. I was just about to ask that too. I was like, what is bombed?
Well, here, you know what? Hit me with the Google movie.
Let's do it, baby.
Here's the thing too. I've pulled up some of the other movies that came out, and I mean, like your best one is Top Gun, that Maverick that just came out 2 years ago, and that took 160 million. Followed by Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. Then
$26.2 million is all it made in its box office opening weekend. That is a flop. I'm sorry. For a major title like that, for a movie that probably cost $150 to $200 million to make, that is a major flop for your opening weekend, because usually a movie like that, when you have a giant budget, your goal is to make your budget in the opening weekend, if not the two weekends.
I don't think it's an end to that. I think this is a problem with our culture again, because what's the name of the first one in the series?
Fury Road?
No, that's not it.
Mad Max
Fury Road, starring Tom Hardy. Now you have Furiosa starring Anya Taylor-Joy. These are big budget action movies with female leads. You're not going to get the bros and the chads of the world to go out and see it. And am I wrong?
Yes.
Yes,
you're wrong. You're wrong. And listen, I'm
not on the side of this. I just think that's one of the things, man.
I think you're wrong in this sense. I'm not. How do I want to put this? I understand where you're coming from 100%. However, there is not a big enough demographic to account for the fact that this movie only made $26 million in its opening weekend. There's a reason why it did, because the movie's not that good. If the movie was good, it would have made a shit ton of movie. We've had bangers over the last year or two. We've had movies that have come out and have made $150 million in their opening weekend, which wasn't on a holiday weekend. We talked about this. We talked about this before the show started. Memorial Day weekend is one of the biggest weekends for movies during the entire calendar year, because it's a 4-day weekend. People have off of work. They're going to enjoy their weekend. They're going to go hit the cinema. Now, I understand, we talked about this. The cinema is way overpriced. There's not a lot of people going that would have gone 4 or 5 years ago. However, I don't think there's a big enough demographic of men who hate female leads to justify this only making 26 million.
I don't even know if it's necessarily that they hate them.
I don't think it's that they hate
I just don't think that that's the draw. Like if Chris Hemsworth was the lead in this instead of just the opposite playing the bad guy,
which I hear he's brilliant at,
it's probably going to do better. Just throwing that out there.
I'm going to agree.
Like, you can't really name too many movies that has a woman lead that is huge
with her name.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Marvels did better.
Say
their opening weekend.
They've had also a catalog of 1,000 movies to be their predecessor.
Yeah,
I get that, but we're also forgetting the fact that Mad Max Fury Road was argued as a movie that should have been nominated for an Oscar. So you go from that, and that's something you agree with. You go from that to making $26 million in your opening weekend. Hey, I mean, for fuck's sake, Garfield made more than that.
Hey, who was the guy that was the main lead in that one? Was it a guy named Tom Hardy who's done a lot of great movies and is a great actor that a lot of people would love to see?
Yep, that's him.
Oh, he's not in this one, right?
Neither is Charlize Theron.
Oh no, Charlize Theron, another big name who.
Yep. Oh, that's one of my childhood crushes, by the way. Moving on to the next agree or disagree.
Let's go back to your point.
Who was the lead in this one? Because I've never heard of her.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
I've never heard of her.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal actress.
Not a dig, but I've never heard of her. I don't know what she's in. I've never seen her in anything.
But let's all say this about the Fury Road. Fury Road was made with 99% practical effects. For the cars in that movie, they built them from the ground up. And when they wrecked cars, they wrecked them. And when cars were going through and getting picked up by cranes and tossed off the screen, that was real. You were seeing that. This one has been dubbed in with a lot of CGI.
See, now that is a premise right there. That is an idea that I can get behind. The fact that they did not put the same effort into this movie as they did the original, the last one. Now I can understand why they didn't make nearly as much money in their opening weekend.
And the original was apparently a nightmare for production because of that simple fact. Now, the final product is one of the most gorgeous movies you'll ever see. It's incredible. Now, I don't care what you think about the action and all that other stuff. Set-wise and visually, what they were able to accomplish is next level insane.
Now, see, that I can get behind. That is an idea that I can get behind as to why this movie flopped. Moving on to the next one, and this one I hold dear to my heart. You guys may not, but I hold this one dear to my heart. Kabosu. Kabosu is the Doge dog. You might recognize him from the fat roll, the Shiba that turned his head like this. He passed away at the age of 18. Agree or disagree, Kabosu is the greatest animal character of all time.
In what?
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I ain't never heard of her either.
So you remember the cryptocurrency Dogecoin?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the symbol of the dog that was on that?
Nope.
Nope.
I've heard of Doge.
All right. Well, that was Kabosu. He was a Shiba Inu, so he's a Japanese dog.
Oh, I don't know about Bush's baked beans before that. They got the goddamn Geico gecko.
We're gonna move on very quickly. That was just one that I held dear to my heart because I have a Shiba Inu.
Touched a nerve.
Oh, do you have a Shiba? My name is.
I've got a Shibu. I got a Shibu. Moving on quickly.
Greatest.
The 90s Spider-Man cartoon main. Oh boy, here we go.
Oh boy. Sorry.
The 90s Spider-Man cartoon may quickly be getting a reboot the same way X-Men 97 did. Agree or disagree? The MCU should pick up with their animated features quickly and run with it.
Absolutely agree.
I was gonna say it should come back as whenever they put them on Disney, that's the first one I jumped to, is the Spider-Man joint first. I actually started watching Spider-Man.
Same.
They also just made an announcement that they were splitting into 3 different divisions at Marvel, and one of them was Marvel Animation. So
the other one was television and then movies, correct?
Yes. Yep. And then the MCU is the Marvel Studios. So that's definitely, I think that's a great idea. Because at the end of X-Men 97, if you haven't seen it, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. They showed Daredevil, Spider-Man, Baron Zemo. I was like, they are setting this up for major appearances by good characters.
Yeah, there was a lot of cameos in that for sure, and I think you would get the same thing in a Spider-Man reboot as well.
See, I'm not gonna lie, man. That's the way I kind of would rather have my X-Men in the MCU. It's just animated. I don't need a live action.
Oh, don't start.
I don't need a live action.
Don't start. We have to have live action X-Men. We have to, because the MCU is going to be the ones that justify making it.
Yep.
The only one that's worthwhile out of the entire franchise is the original X-Men live action and Logan. That's it.
See, that's kind of my point. You had all these other movies.
But the MCU did the same thing with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I definitely have an affinity for some of those X-Men movies. I don't they're not great. They're not.
No, they're not.
The first one was more nostalgia, but Logan I watched the other day and I was like, this is a masterpiece of a movie.
Oh, Logan was phenomenal. But look at all of the movies before that. I mean, X-Men First Class, X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, they were all trash.
Right.
Imagine what the MCU could do with that franchise. Moving on, this one's an interesting one. Deadpool and Wolverine shattered AMC's one-day record for ticket sales for an R-rated movie. Agree or disagree? This is going to open the door for more R-rated Marvel features.
Who are the leads in that movie?
Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman.
And how much money did they make on fucking pre-sales?
A shit ton.
26 million. That just circles back to the franchises. Fuck no, franchises aren't done. And these two male very popular leads in an action movie, not to mention Deadpool, dude. To answer your question, I think they're going to lean heavily into some of the R-rated content because it's the right thing to do for their wallets.
Well, for the franchise as well, for Marvel, I mean, if you look at the comics itself, there are a lot of graphic novels and graphic comics that Marvel has to offer that were masterpieces.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you want to tap into that specific genre of comics and make movies out of it? Because you can make a lot of money.
Good. I mean, I personally was going to say if they had maybe introduced the Punisher, he might warrant a rated R. He absolutely would warrant a rated R. I don't see any other person that they have now that they couldn't keep PG-13, and that's what they would more than likely do because that's a smarter business move, to be quite honest.
But that's the thing, though. I mean,
Deadpool is Deadpool, and he is who he is, and now all those were both rated R. When he came to Disney, they were even told, "We're not going to touch it. You can keep it rated R." But are they going to Disney a child or kid-friendly family organization who's already catching a lot of heat all over the place for a bunch of different things? Are they just going to start?
See, that's where I'm going to stop you right there because we talked about this last week. I think it was either last week or the week before. I just watched 3 of the Die Hard movies on the Disney app.
You watched 3 Disney movies on an app that was tied to Hulu, which they own the rights to.
But I understand that. I understand that. But Disney they are opening their arms to the more graphic, the more action-based, the more obscene culture. Well, they're very slowly doing it.
Yeah, sure. It's being put out by Disney, but that doesn't mean we're getting the slow cinematic open of the Disney castle like we do before fucking Moana. Exactly. You're getting the Marvel logo. You're getting, you know what you're getting into. So if parents are bringing their children to that just because they see Disney, you're an idiot. Pay attention to the media you're bringing your child to go see. I have no issues with it. And Disney is also, hey, it's rated R. You're bringing your child here. We know it says Disney, but it's rated R. So they have
actually watched parents walk out of the first Deadpool with their children because they obviously did not pay attention to the content that they were bringing their children to. That's your fault. That's your problem, not ours.
Right? You didn't ask your nerd friend to go, hey, should I take little Billy to go see Deadpool? Absolutely not, my man. Do not do that.
Last question of the segment before we move on. We are roughly 1 week away from Star Wars The Acolyte. Agree or disagree? This show will reverse the exhaustion we've been getting from the Sith and Jedi storylines.
I don't have any way to say agree or disagree because I don't watch freaking Star Wars, but it's gonna make me watch it because that fucking trailer looked dope. So I don't know.
It did look sick. It did look sick, but I want Jack to answer this question more than anybody because he is one that has been sick of the Jedi Sith storyline more than anyone I know. But after watching the trailer, Jack, what is your opinion?
I disagree. I don't think this is going to get rid of the staleness of the Jedi Sith. I think it'll be hopefully a new twist on it and something else to show. But the whole there's always two Sith and there's always this and we have to trust in the Force and shit like that. No, I'm ready for some rule breaking. Traditional Sith Jedi, get it out of here. I'm tired of it. And to answer your question, no, I don't think it's going to end it.
So I'm going to agree and disagree with what you just said. You're 100% right with the traditional, like, there's only two, that bullshit. The traditional Jedi way of like, oh, we can't kill, we can't fight, we can only protect, blah, blah, blah. You're right. That is stale. That's old, 100%. However, I think moving forward with what Disney wants to do with the franchise, I think we're going to get a taste of that with this series. And I think they are going to change things up with the Jedi Sith dynamic going forward with what they have coming out afterwards. So this is post sequel trilogy, post like Rey Skywalker and all that stuff. The new stuff they're going to come out with after that, I think they are going to change up the script with the Jedi Sith dynamic.
Dave Filoni and what's my guy's name? I love him. I can't think of it right now off the top of my head.
Feige?
No, not Feige.
Oh, you're talking about
Jon Favreau.
Yes, Jon Favreau. Yep.
They have single-handedly saved Star Wars.
1,000%. Not even close. 1,000% they have.
So I got a question. You just said I don't watch Star Wars, so there's only two Sith at a time.
That's the rule of thumb, is that there's always a master and there's always an apprentice, and that's it.
For a Sith?
Not for the entirety of the Sith order, but if you're ever encountering a Sith, there's always two.
Yep.
Okay, I was gonna say, so there's not like a whole
like Jedi, you can see a bunch of them. You can see.
So if you go way back, which they haven't made content about going way back, yes, there is like a Sith army. There is like hundreds of Sith, just like there was a Jedi Council. There's a Sith Council similarity to that, but it wasn't until Darth Plagueis. No, the guy before Darth Plagueis. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Darth Bringus.
Darth Bringus. Yep, there we go. He was the one that instilled the rule of two. That's what it's called. It's the rule of two. So there's a master, an apprentice, and that's it.
Buddy system. All right, everyone. I know we're all dark and serious, but make sure you have your Sith buddy when you go out there in the galaxy, okay?
Yep.
Everyone get enough snacks to do evil things for at least 3 weeks and bring a buddy.
None of them Jedi ever going to catch us lacking. Always two of us, bro.
Yep.
I like it.
If you're catching hands, you're catching 4 of them.
Yep. My lord, he's always snacked up. We don't know how to get him tired. His battle buddy is out there giving him Twizzlers mid-fight.
Oh, boy. So that's it for the agree or disagree segment of the show. Any comments or thoughts, guys?
I'm excited. I forgot Acolyte was next week.
That's gonna be
June 4th, so it's next what is that, Thursday or Tuesday?
May the June be with you.
Yep. The Juneth is with us. So I want to go back. I want to touch on Deadpool because we're gonna get into a little bit of a Marvel segment here. I want to touch on Deadpool being the highest grossing R-rated pre-sale for AMC. Is that a sign for Marvel moving forward positively, or is that just strictly franchise based?
I think this is strictly franchise based, and it's been anticipated like a lot of. Honestly, if you think about the MCU in this last, even the phases or whatever, this is probably one of the most anticipated movies that we've actually had.
100%. I think this is more anticipated right now than Endgame and Infinity War was.
Like we've been. I want to say that.
I disagree a little bit, but
for the state of Marvel right now,
yeah, the state of Marvel right now, exactly. Well,
all right. So given the conditions, yeah, I can see you making that statement. Yes, given the conditions of Marvel right now, because Marvel's not been good. It hasn't been horrible, but it hasn't been good either. So yeah, the anticipation level is up there for sure.
A rising tide raises all ships. That movie does the $1 jillion that we think it's going to do. The next one's just going to come out. That Marvel viewers will be like, Deadpool was the shit. This one might connect. Let's go watch it. This might be the next step in what's going to happen with Deadpool. Let's go see.
Which is probably that also may be the reason why they moved this movie up several months too, because I think originally it had a November of 2024 release.
I think it's also the reason this movie is the only one we're getting this year.
True. Yeah.
That's going to affect a lot of production schedules.
Hopefully it'll save Marvel. The one thing that's also been announced by Marvel is that they're making a Vision series, which is supposed to come out in 2025.
Hey.
And I believe it's supposed to take place immediately following the events of WandaVision.
Right.
Is this something that we're intrigued about?
Oh yeah, Vision Quest, let's go. He's going to start us the Young Avengers. He's going to be the Jarvis again. Let's do it.
I'm all about it if they include him in cinematic features as well.
Okay.
He's too big of a character not to include. I mean, Vision is historically speaking from the comics, Vision is a massive character.
Sure.
I want him to be included in all of the cinematic features that he should be.
He I think he will be. I mean, he has that capability, and like I said, Young Avengers, that's a lot of movies. That's a lot of interactions. That's a lot of paths crossing. I don't think we're
not
a long shot.
Not just the Young Avengers, you have the West Coast Avengers as well. I mean, you have a lot of capability there. I mean, you have Shang-Chi. We could get Squirrel Girl introduced. She beats the brakes up everybody, right?
Wonder Man is also being talked about as being separate from the main MCU now.
Really?
Yeah.
So separate in the sense that he's not going to be in anything other than his own series?
That's a very good chance.
All right, sure.
Let's see how it does.
Do we need a whole Vision 6-part series for
We
this?
don't need one starring Vision for 6 episodes. No.
That's why I'm like,
that's what it's supposed to be. He's supposed to have his own series as the titular character. So
I mean, that's
instead
fine,
of
but there's got to be
series-
some strong supporters there.
instead of the series, can we start doing, Lifetime TV? Start doing that, Disney. Just give me
hold on a second. I actually want to comment on that because that is actually a brilliant idea.
Yep.
And there have been a couple series so far that probably could have gotten away with that. She-Hulk being one of them.
That's kind of my point. That's my point.
No. She-Hulk could have been a 2, maybe 3 episode series at the most.
Agreed.
See, I don't even need episodes.
And then my boy Werewolf by Night just getting one goddamn hour-long episode.
Exactly, and that was brilliant.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily have to be a whole big production, so it has to be a movie that needs to be released.
Introduce
you can do something small. Here, it's on Disney Plus. Watch this if you want to. I don't need a freaking 8 episodes of.
Well, Ryan, I mean, if you think about it, literally anything that's on Disney Plus is watch if you want to.
Yeah, it is. But I'm saying,
and based off of you. Nothing on there is what you want to watch.
Not recently, especially from the MCU. That's kind of what I'm saying, though. I mean, we haven't gotten a movie in how long? A good one from them?
I mean, it's been a while. That's what the whole Deadpool hype's about.
Almost 2 years December?
Yeah.
When Spider-Man came out, technically that won them.
Cut the music, DJ.
Oh.
So
really?
I'm just saying.
I thought we had some DC stuff you want to talk about.
I thought there was too, but there's not.
Oh, damn. How about the fact
sucks.
that they asked John Cena if Peacemaker would be making an appearance in other DC projects? And he said, James Gunn gets really upset when you say stuff you're not supposed to. So I'm just going to say, I don't know.
Obviously, he'll be there.
But let's ask the real hard-hitting question that Ryan and I need to know.
Yeah.
How big of a part of the overall DCU is Vigilante really going to be?
Oh, bro.
Because we need Vigilante.
That we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to episode 171 of the Alter Ego Podcast. My name is Rhino. For Jack.
Yo, see you later. See you next week. Episode 171. We will be back for episode 172 here and everywhere you listen to podcasts. All right.
For Ryan.
I'll be back next week. Don't none of y'all watch shit.
Wait, hey, don't tell them that.
Don't watch shit.
Hey, y'all, go watch Fury Road. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, spend money on that.
How would you spend money? It's free, streaming everywhere.
Oh, I thought you meant Furiosa. My bad.
Oh no, I'm not spending money on that one until that one's out for me to stream it. See ya!